Thornton and Smash here, and thank you to Advil for helping me get through the field of view issues on Apex Legends on the Switch. So today's video, I'm going to go over some of my first impressions with Apex Legends on the Nintendo Switch, along with some bugs that have been happening and some that you may not be aware of and how to fix them so you get the best experience possible. As always, we got to go over who was first, and that is Carter, who was just super sonically quick. And yes, I'm going to use this meme again because he has a profile picture of Sonic. Enjoy.
I hate when people underestimate my fastness. I'm fast. I'm so fast, you couldn't even comprehend how fast I am.
Okay, so the footage you're going to see here captured in this video is actually all from the Switch. This was from yesterday's live stream, so it should give you a good look on how it plays. This is in docked mode, not handheld, so I do want to go ahead and start with saying that is something that you're going to want to be aware of. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start off with the bugs and some of the fixes, and then go into the review from there. The first thing is there is a massive download issue when everyone was trying to download it at the same time. It has now been mostly fixed. You should have no problem downloading it. It is around 19 gigs instead of the reported 30, but with patches it will go up to 30 at some point, so do be aware of that. And it is a long download time. I have very fast internet. It still took me about an hour, but for a lot of you, I know it took upwards to 2 to 4 hours, some going even longer. So do be aware that you can download the game now, but at launch it was incredibly buggy and a lot of people weren't actually able to download it, but you should be fine now. This just felt like something that we needed to go over. Now, the secondary bug is in the mandatory training mode, which you gotta do in the very beginning. There's an issue with placing Lifelines Ultimate, and I actually, as you can see here, struggled with this myself when I was live streaming. I couldn't get it to drop where I wanted it to. You have to find a very specific point in the map. Now, this is where I went ahead and did it, but you can go ahead and also go ahead and do it where the guns are located. If you just run back to where the guns are, you can drop it in that wide open empty space. I know a lot of people got caught here. Most of you have probably made it past this at this point, but it just seemed important for anyone new downloading and hopping in today. Be aware that Lifelines Ultimate has troubles being placed. Now, this last bug is actually really big, and not a lot of people know about this, so pay very close attention here. The horizontal motion controls are broken. So basically, to turn left and right, you're going to have to turn your entire Pro controller or switch with attached Joy-Cons like a steering wheel. So the fix for right now, according to Respawn, is just don't use motion controls at this time. You need to go to Start, Settings, go over to the controller options. You should scroll down and you should see horizontal motion controls. You just need to turn that off because otherwise you're going to have a lot of troubles moving left and right with the attached controller that you have on your Switch. This is a big issue. Hopefully the patch comes soon, but it's very important because I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's so hard to fight in this game. Why my movement so off? This is one of the big reasons. Make sure you turn this off until there's a patch update. I will update obviously when it has been fixed, but as of right now, you cannot use this feature. Now, going into the review portion of what I think of the game, I want to be very clear here from the beginning. I think this is a great port. I think it's very, very good. And I know a lot of people are complaining, especially those coming from other systems, that this is unplayable. I don't like the draw distance. I don't like the frames per second. It's too hard to win fights. And I understand the frustration, especially coming from a higher performance machine. But I do want to be very clear here. The Nintendo Switch is a portable system that you can play in the car in a handheld mode. For what they did with both Panic and Respawn, it's nothing short of amazing of how they actually got this big of a game with this much going on to work in this kind of frame. It's simply amazing. That being said, there are some issues, and I do want to be completely unbiased here because it doesn't do anyone any good if I go ahead and just praise it without saying that there are issues. So I'm going to go over the good and the bad. Some of the big first issues that I have are some features that have been removed from the Switch version that you can find on others. The first big one is the field of view, and I went over that in the intro. I'm used to playing on a higher field of view, and the field of view actually works fine on the Switch if you're playing in handheld mode, but it gave me massive headaches after about 2 hours of playing yesterday if I was playing on my monitor or on my TV. It's just very blurry with the frames dropping in close gunfights, along with having it so stretched out but not having a good field of view. They need to add something where that can be changed a little bit. I don't know if we'll ever see it, but that's something that really threw me off. And in regards to that frames per second that I was talking about, another thing they removed is the performance mode. I'm not a big fan of the lack of transparency there by Respawn. Now, I knew the game was going to run at 30 frames per second, and I knew that with that 30 frames per second, I was going to get drops. I, as a player, am okay with that. But to remove the performance mode so I can't keep track of what kind of settings I'm getting at certain different points just seems kind of scummy. dummy because they're trying to intentionally hide so people don't go ahead and report on it. I'm not a huge fan of that. At the end of the day, it's not game breaking. It's not going to impact how you play, but just to remove that seemed really, really shady on Respawn's part. Now, one feature that the Nintendo Switch has that Apex Legends doesn't have on other consoles is the ability to disable crossplay. You do need to go into settings. It's under one of the settings options. You just scroll down, you disable crossplay, and that will make sure that you don't play with Xbox, PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X, or PC players at all. However, the queue times are ramped up for that, but that is because mostly a lot of people are still downloading the game waiting to get in. I imagine it will get easier as more and more people continue to play. I don't recommend doing those crossplay lobbies, especially if you're learning, because it can be very frustrating in a close-up fight with the motion blur that you have on the Switch, whereas the PS5 and the Xbox Series X or PC simply doesn't deal with that. It's much easier to use. Now, in terms of gameplay and visuals, I think the game is absolutely stunning for what we're getting on a handheld / docked system that is such a hybrid platform. I really am enjoying playing this game. I will say, if you're coming over from another system, it is like relearning the game. You'll notice in some of these clips, my accuracy looks pretty trash. It's usually pretty dang good on my other systems, but here it's like relearning the game all over again, which is actually really nice. It makes me feel like I'm learning and growing on another system, and it doesn't make me feel like I just hopped in and just started slaying everyone. It really gives a good sense of progression as I continue to move up. The double XP is really nice, and I'm really looking forward to doing ranked and seeing how that goes. Overall, gameplay mechanics and all of that is great, and I do expect some patches in the future to deal with some stuttering frames, the up-close blur, adding some more settings, but as of right now, Apex Legends is true to form in how this performs. It is an Apex Legends game 100% through and through. I am loving the gameplay mechanics. Now, in terms of the audio is actually totally fine. It sounds great. It sounds just like Apex on any other system that I've played. There is an issue with the audio of hearing teammates in the game. Now, I'll go ahead and show this clip from this game that I'm playing right here, but you can hear my teammate coming in, and I will just let you listen to this. So basically, as you can hear here, he's talking, it's coming through, but it sounds like it's breaking up through static or crackling, and this has happened to pretty much every player. So Respawn actually didn't notice this as something that they needed to patch, so I'm hoping they see this video and recognize that, and I'll also message them privately and let them know that this is an issue. But for some reason, the audio with talking to teammates is broken right now. However, the rest of the audio, the footsteps, the guns, is what we've come to expect from Apex Legends, meaning you can't hear footsteps. Haha, joke. But no, seriously, it runs just fine with the audio. I'm enjoying it. The guns sound good, crisp, clear. I think the audio is a perfect port. Not one issue there other than not being able to talk to your teammates. There were also a couple of little bugs I've noticed. If you look at the timer of when the ring is supposed to close, occasionally it disappears completely. So I have no idea when the ring is closing. Like I just have no clue what I'm supposed to do with positioning and rotating because the game just completely loses that feature at certain points. So that's something else that they need to fix going forward. In terms of handheld, this game is so much fun. It runs so smoothly on handheld. I don't get that field of view issues because the screen is so small, and it's really fun to play. It's I don't even have words to properly express it. It just feels like a really good port on handheld. They do need to go ahead and fix it on docked just a little bit because it doesn't feel very consistent the way that the other systems do, but I kind of expected that with the first launch of this port and kind of how they are trying to implement it so it can also be played in handheld. But I will say the optimal way to play this game right now is on handheld and with some friends. It's really fun in that aspect. I also have a huge issue with the aim assist in the game right now. It is very strong and there's no way to turn it off. I'm going to go ahead and show you this clip right here, and I slowed it down, but you can clearly see that I'm aware that there is a Bloodhound and a Bangalore. I went ahead and I knocked the Bangalore, and I'm actually trying to run straight at the Bloodhound at this point. I want to hit him. However, my aim assist goes ahead and looks at the knocked guy and tries pulling me hard to left there to hit them, and that's not what I'm trying to do, and it's actually a detriment at that point because it's so strong that when I'm trying to engage another enemy, it's pulling me to look at someone else, and that's a problem. So they need to do some tweaking with the aim assist because right now this just isn't going to work. Some basic stuff I did want to let people know because I get a lot of questions about it still. No, you do not need Nintendo Online to play. That was false news, so don't worry about that. You do get the Pathfinder skin simply by logging in. Once you log into Apex Legends on the Switch, you just go to your Legends tab, go to Pathfinder, and you'll see the Path skin right in there. Along with that, you will be able to chat with your teammates in the game. Obviously, I showed that glitched audio track right there in the past. So you can talk to your teammates with a headset, shouldn't be a problem, but you are going to want to be aware it's a little glitchy and buggy right now. I am also going to be in the next few days doing some video guides that kind of help you guys with these settings because they need to be re-looked at and I want to give you correct settings, along with a couple other guide and information videos, along with any Switch news they have about the patches coming through. So I will keep you guys updated as I find out more information. I just wanted to give you a first impressions video of what I really thought of the game so far. That's going to be my video today, guys, on basically my first impressions of the game. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought, and in case you didn't catch my live stream yesterday, Shin was the winner of the Apex Legends Champion Edition, but don't worry, I'm going to have a ton of more giveaways. I'm going to do everything from pro controllers to various game editions of the game so you can get some cool skins. I'm going to cover all that, so if you want to be entered to win those, just hit the sub button. And until next time, Legends, keep slaying in the Outlands, and I'll see you out there.